special right there. And now Rondo forcing that turnover. Here goes Caruso out of the pack. Gives it up. Rondo bounce pass. Davis patient and a two-handed jam. The Lakers just destroying Denver in transition. Opening up their biggest lead now at 22.
The Lakers led by as much as 27. They win by 12 and get their first Game 1 win of the postseason. They're ahead 1-0 against the Denver Nuggets in these Western Conference Finals. Welcome to Playoff Central Live. Chris Miles here with 3D and Greg Anthony. Fellas, there's only one word that truly describes this victory for the Lakers, and that's dominant. They went on that 17-1 run, the start of the second quarter, never looked back. Anthony Davis, 37 points, 10 rebounds. LeBron James with a modest stat line for him with the 15 points and 12 assists. So let's start with you, 3D. That word that I used, dominant. It's been used a lot for the Lakers in their 9 wins, which they're winning by an average of 13 points a game. Would you say that's a fair assessment in tonight's victory?
Yeah, Chris. It made me think about when AD arrived in L.A. They were going back and forth. Should LeBron be MVP candidate? Should AD be MVP candidate? Well, AD showed us tonight he has to be dominant. He talked about, as a team, they talked about him being the guy. We know what LeBron's done. We know he's been there before and done that. So for me to be in his first Western Conference final, like you said, Chris, they hadn't won a game one all throughout the playoffs. So for AD to put his imprint on this game and to let the Denver Nuggets know, yes, we're not taking y'all lightly. I'm coming out game 1 letting y'all know I want to be the best player in this series and proving that me and GA might have gotten game 1 wrong. So AD let us know tonight. He's dominant, GA. He came out and proved us wrong tonight.
He really did. And, you know, we talk a lot about how dominant AD was. And, you know, LeBron was solid and Rondo played a really good game. Dwight Howard was terrific also. But I don't think we give enough credit to Frank Vogel and his coaching staff. Because what happens in a series, when you go into and you've got time to prepare, they've gone back and watched all those games against the Clippers, against the Utah Jazz, against the games they played them in the regular season. And they figured out areas where they could attack and have success. And one of those areas were transition. You know, the Lakers did a great job of forcing tempo on a team that likes to play up tempo. And a lot of times they were able to get out and score after the Nuggets had scored. And, you know, little things like that make a big difference. You know, game plan, and you heard Anthony Davis talk about it, it plays a role. And when the guys go out and buy in, defensively, they were terrific. They did such a good job of just taking advantage of what Denver likes to do. When you cut and you're always backdooring and you have a lot of motion on offense, a lot of times that creates a lot of transition opportunities. And so the Lakers, great anticipation here, coming up with the steal. They studied the film. They know what the Nuggets like to do. And the Nuggets are still going to have some success. But when they're able to create those opportunities, that solid defense they played for really the second quarter on, it led to a lot of run-out opportunities. And that also coupled with how the Lakers shot it well from 3. They didn't shoot a ton of them, but they shot a high percentage. I think they were about 40% last I had looked. And then they also were dominant in the paint. So credit Frank Vogel, Lionel Hollins, Jason Kidd, that entire coaching staff for the game plan they put forth against a Nuggets team that I thought tonight, in fairness, they looked a little tired. And you could just see the way they reacted to when things weren't going their way. And while the Lakers look dominant, I expect them to win the series. I do think we'll see a better effort from the Nuggets in Game 2.
Yeah, back-to-back Game 7s and then facing a Lakers team that had essentially been resting. So that's a good point that you make there, GA. When you look at the Lakers, they had 7 steals in the first half, which turned them into buckets in transition, but also assisting. Rondo and LeBron had 21 assists. The Nuggets as a team had just 23. The Lakers as a team ended with 33 assists. How big was that in tonight's Game 1, GA?
It's huge because that means there's a lot of trust and confidence. Remember all the talk coming into the postseason. The Lakers were a horrible three-point shooting team. They were really struggling to score the basketball. And the reality is, it looks like now they finally have gotten their legs. They've gotten an identity of how they're going to play. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with Rondo being back in the lineup, because he does, we didn't talk about this, but, the talk had always been, well, Kuzma's got to be our third best player, and who's going to be in, and we're going to do it by committee. But for me, Rondo clearly has been their third best player and third most important player, because of his facilitating ability. When you don't have a guy who can naturally go out and create his own offense consistently as a third option, you got to have somebody that can create offense. And that's what Rondo has done terrifically throughout this postseason. And it's one reason why I think this Lakers team offensively is clicking, and boy, defensively, that's where I would use the word dominant. They have been lights out on that end.
Yes, certainly the veterans playing bigger than the box score. Rajon Rondo, 7 points, 9 assists, but like you said, it felt like a lot more than that. Dwight Howard, 13 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 blocks, but felt bigger than that as well. 3D, we'll hear from you, but first we have to hear from Nuggets head coach Mike Malone.
Was a contributing factor here, but how did this one get away after that first quarter? What changed?
Well, even in that first quarter, we didn't guard anybody. Our offense was able to score the ball, but there was little defense. A huge point of emphasis going into this series was transition, getting back, makes, misses, turnovers, dead balls. And they scored 25 transition points tonight, and that 15 turnovers for 20 points fueled their break. And then that second quarter, to your point, I'll have to go back and watch the film, but I know that they only shot 42% in that quarter, but they went to the foul line 24 times in one quarter. 24 times in a quarter, which is an extremely high number, on pace for almost 100. And we had no fouls in that quarter. And then on top of that, 7 turnovers, again, fueling their break. So I have to go back and watch the film to see what we can do better. How do we defend without fouling? Because we're not going to beat that team by putting them on the foul line 37 times. So that's definitely part of it.
Next, we'll go to Mike Singer. Mike, go ahead.
Michael, obviously, you mentioned the foul trouble. How can you, or what can you do to protect Nikola a little bit more and not have him pick up those tick-tack fouls?
I don't know if there's anything I can do. I mean, I can't go out there and play for him. We just have to be a little bit smarter. We got to show our hands. And again, I'm looking forward to watching the film to see where all these fouls were called. And obviously in the second half, things got evened out, but it was an extreme advantage for the Lakers in that first half. So watch the film, see the fouls that are being called, why they're being called, should they have been called, and then try to learn from it and get better for game number 2.
Next we'll go to Malika Andrews, who is there. Malika, go ahead.
I feel I'm embarrassed to say this. I really don't have any. That's the first I'm hearing of this. Maybe because I'm so locked into this series, so I really don't have anything to comment on that right now. I apologize.
Next we'll go to Mark Kisla. Mark, go ahead.
Fouls are always tricky to talk about. How do you fight for respect on the whistle? And second, maybe more basketball, straight basketball. You got to keep them out of the paint if you're going to win this series. How do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying it for 3 days now. The keys to beating this team are getting back in transition, protecting the paint, and giving them one shot. Obviously, we did a poor job of that tonight in all areas. So how do you protect the paint? You don't turn the ball over, which is one way of slowing them down in transition. And then we need a much greater sense of urgency to get back. We were giving up layups after we scored baskets ourselves. So that indicates to me that our sense of urgency to get back was not anywhere remotely close to where it needed to be tonight. And then Anthony Davis obviously had 37 points. We have to do something different with him. It was too easy for him tonight. He did not feel us. And I think over 48 minutes, we just can't play him the same, give him the same look. So that's definitely something that we can look at the film and figure out how we can be better. But for me, kids, it's really simple. It starts with just the urgency to get back, set your defense. And when you're set, make sure we're showing a crowd to LeBron, we're showing a crowd to Anthony Davis, and not being hugged up. This was not a great game for us. Yes, we scored in that first quarter, but one thing I do know about our group, we've proven it time and time again, we can learn from our losses and figure out what we need to do better going into the next game and give ourselves a much better chance to win.
All right, we have time for one more here. We'll end with Dan Woike, who is there. Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, he came in and played well. Obviously, they started JaVale, and they came in with Morris first. They were playing small, and then when they inserted Dwight into the game, I thought his size, his physicality, his athleticism, he made a huge contribution to their game. Gave them great energy on both ends of the floor. I mean, you look for the game: 16 minutes, 13 points, 2 blocks, 2 steals. So he came in, did a good job on Nikola. He's guarded Nikola well in the past, and give him credit. He was ready to go tonight, and he helped impact the game for them.
All right, Coach, that'll do it.
21 points, 3 3-pointers, 7 for 12 from the field in game 1.
You know, when you look at the last series, it's a completely different series. You know, 2 completely different teams that play 2 different ways. So I think we just got to adjust. Their pace kind of, you know, even after made baskets, we were trying to get matched up and everything. And we just got to be better. We just got to be on point. We have to talk earlier. You know, point, whatever we got to do. We're going to be cross-matched at times, but as long as we keep a body in front and trust our rotations, we should be all right. But yeah, they came in and the pace kind of changed in the way that we're ready for.
Next, we'll go to Katie Wingy. Katie, go ahead.
Hey, Mal, I'm curious, what is the vibe in the locker room after that loss? Obviously, it's just one game, but what's the biggest point of emphasis for you guys in terms of changes going into game 2 now?
We just finished the game. I don't know about the changes yet. You know, obviously, it's the first game. We're not going to overreact. But we just got to be better. You know, the first half really didn't go our way, and that really took us out of a lot of stuff. I felt like we should have had the lead. It wasn't for some unfortunate things that happened. But yeah, we'll just come back and be better and try to be physical and try to hit them early, try to get on run and push the pace in our favor.
Next, we'll go to Mike Singer. Mike, go ahead.
Well, you said you thought you should have had the lead, but at the beginning of that second quarter, they reel off a 17-1 run that obviously flipped the game and kind of set the tone for the rest of it. What happened in those first few minutes of the second quarter?
I don't know, if you watch the game, you could tell. Yeah, if you watch the game, then you could tell.
Next, we'll go to Mark Medina. Mark, go ahead.
Hey, Jamal. How do you guys moving forward adapt to the whistles?
Just try to play through it. It's tough. They want to talk about every call and have full conversations and try to manipulate what happens. But can't worry about it. We know how it's going to be. We know we're the younger team. We're just going to play through it. We're going to find a way, and we're not going to go away so easy. So.
All right. Next, we'll go to Mark Kisla. Mark, go ahead.
2 things. You faced questions as a team of physicality in both of the first 2 series and responded very well. Is this a whole different beast because the Lakers can play so big? And second, talking about fouls, do you have to win your respect from the whistle rather than lobby for the respect or argue for the respect?
No, respect is earned in every aspect. With your play, with how you talk to the referee. I always try to be as respectful as I can when I go to talk to them. You can ask every single one of them. But it's something you can't focus on. The call is not always going to go your way, and you can't complain about it. And trying to learn that as a young player, and you just got to play through it. And they're not trying to make the wrong call. They're just out there doing their job. And I'm gonna miss shots, and they're gonna miss calls, or I'm gonna make a bad pass, and they might make a bad call. It's just gonna happen. And like I said, just don't react. Keep playing through it, and we'll be right. But I'm not gonna sit here and just blame it on the refs. That's not what I'm doing. We just gotta play through it and earn that respect.
Next, we'll go to Joel Rush. Joel, go ahead.
It seemed like you guys were getting the shots you were looking for early in the game. Something happened along the way that made it tough?
No, we got the shots we wanted. I just think that the rate that they were scoring, we didn't put a stand. We didn't stand them up and get 3 steps in a row, or make them call the first timeout and quarters, stuff like that. We gotta get our defense going. Because when we play defense, we scored a much higher rate as well. So especially with their pace, they get up and down a lot, and they try to make those runs seem a lot bigger than it is. So I missed a couple layups. I don't apologize about the layup. We were joking about that earlier. But that makes the run seem a lot bigger when you miss those bunnies, and so we just got to convert and be more solid.
So the Lakers scored 16 fast break points against the Nuggets, pushing the pace. A little bit later on in the show, we're going to hear from King. For everybody else, 3D, he had the 3D vision going.
Yes, he did. He was finding AD and bounce passed all over the place. That's called good teamwork.
Let's hear from Rondo now. 9 assists on the night.
Rajon, we got to start with that shot you had in the fourth quarter. You kind of got forced behind the basket on a drive, and you lofted it over the backboard and into the rim through the basket. You practiced that a little bit?
I haven't practiced in probably about 12 years. Got lucky tonight. My main objective was to get the ball above the backboard and give it an arc and give it a chance to go in.
You passed Michael Jordan tonight with your 7th assist of the game. You're now 10th all-time in career playoff assist leaders. What does that mean to you?
It just means I play with a lot of great players. I can't take a lot of the credit, even though my job is to get guys the ball. But at the end of the day, you don't complete an assist that those guys can put in the basket. So it's a credit to. I've been in the game for a long time and play with a lot of great players, and those guys have made me look pretty good.
This team struggled in the 2 game ones in the playoffs. Not tonight. What was the difference, do you think?
I think giving us a couple days to obviously hone in on those guys' tendencies, and they actually got up to a great start in the first quarter. So they hit us in the mouth first quarter. We were able to respond and kind of hunker down on our defense and get some stops the rest of the game.
Hey, Rajon, it's Dave. I know you like to do, kind of funny math sometimes, talking about how many shots attempt people get or whatever, but I'm talking about age. LeBron doing what he's doing at 35, you doing what you're doing at 34. Is that a testament to how you guys have prepared your bodies? Is that a testament to sports science, improving over the course of your careers?
Can you explain? I think just a discipline that we put into our body. I'm not spending $1 million on my body, but I'm spending 1 million hours on it. So, Bron is one of the best. Obviously playing with him the last few years, you see how disciplined and focused he is, and the emphasis on him taking care of his body. I played with a lot of other greats. KG was great for me at a young age, just knowing how to continue to stay in the weight room, take proper care of your body, and that was the main focus. So I try to take a little notes from everyone I played with in the past, so many great vets, and add it to my game. So I think that's why I'm able to last so long, 14th season, and I'm looking forward to playing many more.
Brad. Thank you. Rondo, how would you describe the way Dwight played tonight, and especially the fact that he didn't play a lot in the second round series? I think he played 15, 20 minutes. Tonight faced 16 against Denver.
Well, I've been telling him all, the last 2 weeks, he's going to be our X factor this series, and I'm very happy that he got an opportunity to come out and play and display his talent and show how much we need him. Like I said, I told him it's a Houston series. Things don't go as his way sometimes, but championship run, you need all 15 guys, and that's what we displayed tonight. Coach being able to go deep in the bench and use guys that we haven't used last series. So it's a testament to the management. We're able to be flexible, go small, go big, and tonight, Dwight Howard especially, great for us.
All right, you guys can take it there.
Kyle Boone.
You guys had problems with turnovers in the last series, and obviously Houston's a very different defensive team, but what have you guys done in the last week to make sure ball security is, you had no turnovers tonight. LeBron just had 3 to 12 assists. What have you guys done in the last week to work on ball security?
Nothing.
Is there?
We just made we made an emphasis as far as taking care of the ball. Myself, LeBron AD, we're going to obviously have the ball as much as possible, or a lot more than anybody else in the game. So if us three combined can keep it under 10, I think we'll end up less than maybe 14, 15 a game, and that's what we need. Give ourselves a chance, put the ball in the glass, and play against a set defense.
Rachel? You guys had some of the best chemistry of any team in the NBA this year. Your locker room was so together all season. At least by 4 months apart, how did you see things sort of reform down here and to get to the point where you're now?
Well, actually, I had to look from afar. I came back, broke my hand, 72 hours, and then I went back home. So, the chemistry was, it just kind of, I think that, from watching afar, all the Zoom calls, it just came together naturally. Guys are still obviously connected, close to one another, and then also, the guys have a Madden tournament, a Madden league that I joined. So, we're around each other every day. Just now, the last couple weeks, people's family came in, but for the most part, it was us every day. Meetings from film to practice to playing video games. You gain that camaraderie, you gain that chemistry back pretty quickly. And like I said, we've seen each other more than our families in this past 6 months. So it's we're down here for a reason. Obviously, we're not coming down here just to put on a show. We want to obviously execute and follow through with the game plan as far as we're in championship. And tonight, we just got one step closer. That's all.
One last question.
Sure. Rajon, do you feel like in this matchup, is there an intimidation factor when it comes to the Nuggets? The first half, getting into Jokic, being vocal on the bench. Is there a sense that if you have that kind of tally, the attention?
No, we're not trying to intimidate anyone. We're just playing basketball. With the guys we have, the white physical ability, he's just playing the game. No one's out there trying to bully people. We're just playing to our strengths, driving to the basket. We have a unique team. We have 3 7-footers. And it's something that you can't really practice for, how big he plays, Keith, like I said, I got to give credit to the management. They did a hell of a job getting certain guys on our team and everyone buying into the system. And right now, everything is going pretty smooth, so adversity may come and we'll see how we handle that. But right now, like I said, we're going to continue to get better. This is just one game. We did our job. We did nothing special tonight. And we got to look forward to cleaning up our first half mistakes along with the second half as well to get better game 2.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Rajon. Dwight is here next.
Well, there's magic. A friendly reminder to Laker Nation. It's only one game. We have to come back strong again on Sunday. Denver Nuggets have shown they can be resilient. Just ask the Clippers. They pulled out that Game 7 win after being down 3-1 in that series. Remember, Nikola Jokic had that 22-rebound triple-double in Game 7. Here in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, 21 points, just 6 rebounds, just 2 assists, well below his averages. Here's the Joker.
Well, Coach talked about how transition defense is a big point of emphasis in this series. What needs to change other than just turning the ball over less?
I mean, just when we score, we need to get back. They are attacking us in transition, and we know that. We just need to be, mindset needs to be get back. I think that's the first step.
All right, next we'll go to Katie Wengie. Katie, go ahead.
Nikola, how tough is it for you to get a feel for the game and to play in rhythm when you're in foul trouble like you were in the first half?
I just needed a little more. I think I started the game really good. Then I had 3 fouls and because I'm kind of off. And then I started a third quarter somehow good. I think I was aggressive. But, we need to do collectively a better job.
Next we'll go to Dan Wojcicki. Dan, go ahead.
Their size is very different.
It is. They're really good shot blockers. They're attacking the offensive rebound. We just need to measure that. We need to. I think we can again do the collectively better job of rebound the ball a little bit better, and when someone is going to block the shot, just find the open guy and make yourself an open guy.
Next, we will go to Mike Singer. Mike, go ahead.
And Nikola, to piggyback off that question, how big of an impact did Dwight Howard have in his energy and his strength for the Lakers?
The all 3 big, I think JaVale had a really good energy in the first half, in the first quarter. And then he had was in foul trouble. AD was really good scoring wise, and White was really good. He kind of picked up their energy.
All right, next we'll go to Joel Rush. Joel, go ahead.
Hey, Nicola, is there something you really need to do different defensively in terms of guarding the paint?
Yes, I think we can do a little bit of difference, make a little bit adjustments that just try to make them a little bit heavier to score.
All right, do we have any more questions for Nicola? All right, Nicola.
Lakers have now won 4 straight playoff games by 10 or more points. That's the second longest streak in team history. Here's head coach Frank Vogel.
First quarter, it was the biggest thing. You know, these guys are extremely difficult to guard, and you know, it's going to take some time for us to figure out all the coverages and be sharp with them. And we know the coverages, but it just sometimes it takes a little time to figure out a team. And you know, I thought we did ratchet up our attention to detail, focus, physicality, effort in the second quarter. I challenged our guys to go have it be one of those games where we go, all right, we gave up a big first quarter. Okay, let's go 20-point quarter, 20-point quarter, 20-point quarter. And they responded to that. We were on a path for that before we, you know, obviously the fourth quarter we didn't play well enough, but they definitely picked up the focus and had a strong defensive night after the first.
Hey Frank, after losing game 1 from the last 2 series, you guys came out tonight really in a great rhythm. What did you do differently this time around to play so well from the get-go and throughout this game?
Not much. You know, our preparation was still very, very thorough, as it was in the first 2 series. Even though we didn't have success in that first game, you know, we still bring in an enormous attention to detail to what we have to do to beat our opponent in these playoff rounds. And you know, we manage the workload very similarly. But we just talked about pregame that even though we lost game 1 and won the series the last couple of times, and we need to get game 1. You know, that this is a very, very impressive team. We don't want to drop any games, and this was an important game for us.
Hey Frank, it's Dave. The fact that you have 35-year-old LeBron, 34-year-old Rondo, 34-year-old Dwight, obviously with that comes the veteran experience, but also you have guys who obviously take care of their bodies. What's the commonality, the common thread you see from those guys in particular being able to perform still, being in the league this long?
Yeah, well, I think those guys, like you said it, they all take care of their bodies really well. You know, Dwight in particular lost a lot of weight coming into this season, wanted to change his body because he's having back issues, and you know, all that work coming into this year has paid dividends. Rondo works extremely hard. Obviously, you know, LeBron's work ethic is legendary with how he takes care of his body, and you know, their spirit is young. You know, they continue to you know, really enjoy the game of basketball, really enjoy the process of preparing for an opponent, study a team, thinking things out, working on those things in practice, and it shows up on the court.
Frank, in the halftime on the broadcast, they showed you asking you guys, what is this team known for? And they all sort of spoke back to you and said second half comebacks. How much did you drill that into, well, I guess you didn't have that many days to do it, but how much did you drill that into the guys that this is not a team that you can feel comfortable around?
Yeah, well, this is an opponent we all greatly respect, you know, and you know, save for the comebacks, we respect what they're capable of doing on both ends of the floor. But to see them go 3-1 back-to-back series, I don't think it's ever been done in the history of the NBA. Just shows that this is an historic type of resilient team, and you know, we got to understand that both with a series lead 1-0 right now and wherever it goes, but also within games. You know, both I think all 3 of the games that they came back in the previous series, you know, they had first half deficits that they overcame in the third quarter. So they're familiar there, they're confident there, and we got to make sure we keep the foot on the gas.
Allie?
Sure. Kyle, did you?
Yeah, just Mike said yesterday that, I'm sorry if this is already been asked, but said yesterday he didn't want this to be a track meet. How much of your game plan was just, let's use our speed, let's use our physicality, let's make sure we get those elements going early to show our physical confidence?
Yeah, well, that's what I love about our team. We want to be the most physical team on the floor every time we take the floor, regardless of who we're playing. And we have a physical team. We got big, strong guys, but a lot of times teams with big, strong guys don't have the speed to match it, and we have the ability to do both. So we want to push the tempo. We want to play with great pace, attack. That's Laker basketball, playing fast break basketball, but doing it while exhibiting a great deal of physicality too. And I was happy with where that was at tonight. But this team, the Denver Nuggets team, they're physical and tough as well. They're big and strong, and they're mentally tough. And this is going to be a tough series.
Played just 30 minutes, but had 15 points and 12 assists with 6 rebounds in that Game 1 victory.
Try not to foul and put teams on the free throw line because those are easy points. And then we just trust our game plan. We trust our what we've been doing all throughout the course of this whole year. We have a lot of length out there with myself, AD, Dwight, KCP, and Danny at the start of that third quarter. And we were able to, get some deflections, get some turnovers, and get out and do what we do best on the break. But, just having that type of size and that athleticism helps us out tremendously.
I know you talked about using Game 1 as a feel-out game. Was there anything even after the first quarter, LeBron, that you guys identified when things seemed to switch for you defensively starting in the second quarter?
Well, yeah, we knew the first quarter definitely wasn't Laker basketball, Laker defense. And, we just had some breakdowns. We had some breakdowns, but it took a quarter for us to kind of figure it out. Not saying that we fully figured them out because it's too early in the series to say that, but we started to get a better feel, started to get a better rhythm defensively. We started to get some stops in that second quarter and able to build that lead up going into halftime.
Hey, LeBron, it's Dave. We spoke about the MVP award with you back in March, and you said it's not something that's ever motivated you. Your true motivation is trying to be considered the best ever. But when you see the results come out tonight or today, knowing you've won it 4 times, but now you've come in second 4 times, what's that feeling like for you, and what did you think of the results?
Pissed me off. That's my true answer. It pissed me off because out of 101 votes, I got 16 first place votes. That's what pissed me off more than anything. Not saying that the winner wasn't deserving of the MVP, but that pissed me off. And I finished second a lot in my career, either from a championship and now 4 times as an MVP. Like I said, I never came into this league saying let me be an MVP or be a champion. I've always said I just want to get better and better every single day, and those things take care of itself. There's some things that's just out of my hand and some things you can't control, but it pissed me off.
When you saw did you surprise yourself by the reaction you had when you saw those results? Did you know that? I'm just wondering if you knew that you would have this strong of a reaction to seeing those numbers.
No.
Allie?
How good?
LeBron, do you feel like the MVP criteria is something that rewards the most valuable player in the league?
I don't know. I'm not gonna sit up here and talk about what the criteria should be or what it is. it's changed over the years since I've gotten to the league. I know that. You know, it's just changed. It's changed a lot. You know, sometimes it's, you know, the best player on the best team. Sometimes it's the guy with the best season statistically. Sometimes it's changed over the course of my career. I mean, you don't know. You don't know, but you know, Giannis had a hell of a season. I can definitely say that.
Anyone else on this end? Tanisha, do you have anybody on your end? Please.
Yeah, just last two, LJ. We'll go Bill Long.
Hey, LeBron. In the past, when you had, call them slights or whatever, when you finished second in the past, did it bother you as much? And then the next question would be, how much of your strong reaction do you think has to do with the fact that you've done what you've done in year 17 at 35 with a new team? Does that factor into your kind of emotion here?
I have no idea. I mean, I'm fine. Don't get it twisted. Like, I'm going back to my room. I'm perfectly fine. I mean, we're at 1-0 in the Western Conference Finals. I'm absolutely fine. So don't. Like, I was pissed off at the reaction earlier when I saw it. I'm absolutely great now. I'm going back to my room, drink some wine, and sleep very well tonight. So let's not get it twisted. I'm great. It's just the voting scale is a little weird to me sometimes. I mean, if you take 2012, if you just stick with me here, 2012, 2013, I had a chance to be Defensive Player of the Year and also MVP in the same season. And that year, Marc Gasol was rewarded Defensive Player of the Year. But he made second team all defense. Okay, so that doesn't make sense. It's like being the MVP of the league, but you make second team all NBA. That's when I really started to look at things a little bit kind of like differently. I was like, how does that even make any sense? It's like being rookie of the year, but you make second team all rookie. And then I looked at the most improved this year, and rightfully so, Brandon Ingram was amazing. I thought he should have won it. But did you see the votes that Devontae Graham get? He averaged 4 points last year compared to 17 and a half. If that's not improving, what is? And it's just a weird thing sometimes that I don't know how much we are really watching the game of basketball, or are we just in the narration mode, the narrative.
Okay, last question, Bill Plaschke.
Yeah, LeBron, given all this team has been through and all you've had to lead them through this year, how would you compare this to your other MVP years, the years you've won MVP?
I don't even remember. I don't remember actually. I don't know. I don't remember. To be completely honest. This would be hard for me to answer that question. You got another one for me?
Hold on, let me get them back. Oh.
They left. They left the chat.
Yep. You're all done.
All right, thank you. Thanks, LeBron.
Whoa. So can we say candid LeBron? 3D. There's three different things he broke down there. The 16 first place votes, he said that he believed, that he was, quote, pissed off and thought he deserved more votes than that. And that he pointed to 2012, 2013, when he felt that he should have been in running for Defensive Player of the Year. Does he have a legitimate gripe with the some of the things that he's presenting there in the press conference, 3D?
GA, Chris, and all of our viewers, I personally think he does. Every year, there's always a guy or two that's whatever category, if it's all defense, all NBA, all rebound, whatever category it is. And GA, you know this. First thing we say is, well, is that team winning? Or guys can get great numbers on a bad team. Well, every time LeBron's in the conversation, LeBron's always winning. And I think you brought up a good point about the most improved. I think if the Hornets would have been a few more wins, I think Devontae Graham would have got more votes. I think Brandon Ingram was playing with the the Pelicans. They're fighting for a playoff thing, and I think more people gave him votes. So, GA, I love LeBron being this candidate. I love him speaking his mind because he makes a whole lot of sense.
I think you hit it right on the head. It's interesting, too. And full disclosure, I was one of the 16. Actually, I did vote for him. And people, the point he made about Marc Gasol, who we all love. Marc Gasol is a phenomenal basketball player. But, if you think about that, how do you get Defensive Player of the Year and you don't make first team all defense? I'm sorry, that just makes no sense to me. None at all. It didn't then. It still doesn't. And so that does, I think, go to what LeBron's talking about. And he'll get picked apart a little bit about this, but I think he's at a point in his career and in his life where he feels comfortable enough to tell you what he actually thinks as opposed to what you all want to hear. And so while we all applaud Giannis in the year he had, and I had no problem with him winning it. That's the other issue we get oftentimes in society today. It's like we can't disagree anymore. It's got to be personal. Right. I have no problem with Giannis winning the MVP. I've made a strong argument as to why I voted for LeBron, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a strong one for Giannis as well. And so I think that's sometimes we've got to focus on that. But I do like that. I do like the fact that he talked about, he's motivated. He's pissed off about it, but he said he's not going to lose any sleep, and he's about taking care of his business. And like he said, hey, look, we just finished Game 1 in the Western Conference Finals. So obviously he's got bigger goals ahead, and he still has an opportunity potentially to pick up another MVP.
To LeBron's point, remember Devontae Graham wanted some more. I mean, the stats are right here, GA. I got it in front of me.
I like it.
Devontae Graham, 4 points per game to 18 points per game, 2.5 assists to 7.5 assists. I mean, LeBron, he's got some key points when pointing to Devontae Graham.
Yeah. No, he does.
Absolutely.
That's what we was trying to say about if they would have been to win a few more ball games, if they had been in the mix like the Pelicans, I bet you they got more votes.
Well, AD getting votes for the shot chart presented by Kaiser Permanente. And Anthony Davis was playing in another dimension, 12 for 21 from the field. In fact, he joined some elite company. Anthony Davis, just the fifth player to put up 35 points and 10 rebounds in their first career conference finals game. Let's hear from the Brat.
Hey, Anthony, before we get to the game, just want to see if you want to follow up on any of LeBron's thoughts on the MVP, sort of like what you saw from your teammate, your first year playing together, a regular season all the way up to the point where you are now.
I mean, he deserves it. I mean, what he's been able to do for our team, things he's been doing individually, on a consistent basis, night in, night out, it's not even a question, who deserves it. Year 17, doing what he's doing. I'm pretty sure he said everything that I was going to say, but he, like he said, I think it's just, what people, the narrative people is given. You kind of, they kind of choose the MVP before the season even starts, and what he's been able to do for us this year, in the playoffs and regular season. I think if you take him off our team, and we have had games where he didn't play, since we're playing Denver now, when we played Denver, in LA, they beat us by 30. So, I mean, you take him off our team, the things, and the value he brings to our team, that's what it is, most valuable player. And I think he's, very valuable to our team. And if you take him off our team, we definitely take a hit.
And then just switching to tonight's game, what did you think was the key with you guys figuring something out defensively? You held Denver to 20 in the second quarter, I think 21 in the third, or maybe those were vice versa. What did you guys figure out after their big first quarter?
We just had to lock in defensively. We knew that Jamal and Jokic are going to, come out, on fire, come out trying to score, and we just had to make sure that we trying to contain them. I mean, we had times they did score. They made some good shots, but our coverages was kind of messed up. So we tried to get back to our coverages and do it the right way. And when we did, we got stopped. So just coming out and especially giving up a 38-point first quarter, that's not our defense. And coach challenged us to get better on defense in the second and third and fourth quarter and be able to lock in and get stops.
Anthony, it's Dave. When things like this happen, anything a perceived slight towards LeBron, do you ever see that affect his play or change his focus for the better, or it manifests itself in any way where it helps his performance and helps your team?
The MVP thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he locks in. I mean, he goes into a different mode. I mean, he's already in that mode, regardless, because we're trying to win a ring. But and I know he'd rather, win a ring than win than an MVP award. But it definitely, sparks him. And like he got a chip on his shoulder, like he got something to prove. I mean, so we see it, and he knows it, and the team knows it, and we know that if he's gonna show it.
Allie?
Calvin?
I'm gonna ask a non-MVP question. You guys were up double digits for a lot of the game. When obviously you always want to build that, keep that as much as you can, but for Denver and how they've played in these playoffs, does it feel different? Is there more of an urgency to making sure you guys keep those leads?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, no lead is safe with this team. In the game or in the series. I mean, they've proven that they're a second half team. Where they come out and just basically destroy teams in the second half and prove that even if they're down the series, they're not going to fight. Their team is going to be resilient and keep fighting no matter what the score is, what the situation is. So, like I said, we haven't done anything special from our group. We know the type of team they are, and it just puts the emphasis on our focus. When we do have to lead, knowing that Jamal can get hot, Jokic can get hot. They pick and roll game can get going. Their other guys start making shots. So, when we have a lead, we have to lock in even more.
Jeff?
What did you see from Dwight?
Big minutes. Played extremely well. He was physical with Jokic. Made his free throws. He was great in the pick and roll game. He's talking on defense. And it just speaks volumes of who he is as a person and as a player. I mean, not to play, in our last series against Houston, and then come out, and be ready to play in the Western Conference Finals. I mean, it speaks volumes of who he is and our team. Guys stay ready. Guys, prepare and put in the work. So when their time is called, they are ready. And he came in and played huge minutes for us tonight and helped us get the win.
All right, Tanisha, do you have any on your end?
Yep, last two questions. We'll go Melissa Rowland.
Hey, D, two questions for you. One, do you think there's a fatigue factor in terms of when a guy is so good for so long, he can be overlooked in a sense? And then I also wanted to ask you if you think that there's a more fair way for the voting to be done.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say he's overlooked. I mean, he's the best player in the league. I mean, every headline is about LeBron James, and everybody talks about what he's done. I mean, but if you look at this year, what he was able to accomplish, regular season and playoffs, it was, for me, it was clear cut that he was the MVP. And I'm not sure how they can do the voting. I mean, I think we can get the players more involved for sure. I mean, we actually the ones who's out there playing against these guys. And, if you look around the league, a lot of players, say Bron should be MVP. You know, these guys go up against him night in and night out and see what he brings to the table and what his value is to our team. So, you know, I think the players for sure should get involved in all the votes.
Hey, Anthony. You guys did a really good job tonight keeping Murray and especially Jokic off the floor, drawing fouls against them, bothering them into fouls. Is that something you guys can actually try to strategize as a team or look for ways to do?
No, I mean, we just try to play our style of basketball. Obviously, when you put their best players in you know, in covered and things like that, it just wears down a player. You know, when they're trying to fight and got a battle on the other end, you know, the shots that they usually make tend to be a little short. You know, or they look for other guys just because they're playing on both ends of the floor. But I mean, you know, the game plan is not go out and let's get them in foul trouble. You know, we just played physical tonight, and the calls went our way.
So there it is, Anthony Davis, 37 points, 10 rebounds, and don't forget those 4 assists. Becomes the first Lakers player to record those numbers in a Western Conference Finals in 18 years. Shaq, the last guy to do it back in 2002. When we come back, we'll look forward to Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals between the Nuggets and the Lakers.